At least 7 people have been killed and 20 others have been trapped after two three-story buildings collapsed early this morning in Vadodara in Gujarat. Vadodara's municipal commissioner says one building came down around 4 this morning and they managed to evacuate everyone from the adjacent building before it collapsed. Efforts continue to rescue those trapped under the debris. The government has set up an inquiry commission and will pay a compensation of 2 lakh rupees to the families of those who were killed. The buildings were part of a huge housing complex built by the Vadodara Urban Development Authority. There are 54 other similar buildings in the complex that was built 35 years ago. The building that collapsed was 15 years old. So is there a bigger tragedy waiting to happen at this housing complex built more than 3 decades ago? The pictures you see clearly show that the other buildings are in a terrible state of disrepair. Extensive seepage is clearly visible in many of the buildings. Many of them have cracks in their walls. There is now a growing concern for the safety of the residents of the other buildings in the complex.
मेरा का पूरा फैमिली था, 4 मेंबर थे, मेरे छोटे छोटे 2 बच्चे थे और मेरा मामा मामी थे।
आप कहाँ थे उस वक्त?
मैं यहाँ कोटा में था, मेरा दूसरा घर है वहाँ।
आपके मामा मामी है यहाँ?
हाँ।
और आपका
उनके 2 बच्चे थे। पता नहीं अभी उनका क्या हुआ है, अभी कुछ कामगिरी में कुछ पता नहीं चल रहा है, कोई जवाब ही नहीं दे रहा है कि दूर हटो क्या हम हमारी फैमिली को भी नहीं दे सकते क्या? अभी क्या पता अभी क्या होगा अभी।
Till now we have been able to evacuate about 12 persons. We fear that about 7 are dead. About 14 dwelling units were there in the first building which collapsed. Second building collapsed after 20 minutes, so there was sufficient time for everybody to escape. In the first building with 14 dwelling units, we estimate about 30 persons total who would have been trapped. It's an estimation. Out of that, 12 have been evacuated, so there is a likelihood that about 15 to 18 persons, perhaps 20 persons are still trapped. Hardly 10 to 15 minutes back also we have been able to safely evacuate 2-3 persons, and they were all responding to the medication. So we are still optimistic that we will be able to safely evacuate whoever are trapped. Now time becomes a very critical factor, but with the help of the fire brigade, the district disaster management team, NDRF, military, we presume that in the next 1 to 1.5 hours, we would be able to identify more victims who are trapped inside.
Do you see some kind of a lapse on part of the order authorities while constructing this building?
The mere fact that the building is about 13 to 15 years old makes it a very serious irregularity. I would not want to presume any reasons behind it. The state government has acted with utmost seriousness and at the earliest possible instance initiated a detailed inquiry commission for this purpose.